first husbandry demonstration? Okay, well, we'll go ahead and take it from the top. One person watching twice. What we have been doing here, just to give you a little background, over the last 3 years, 3 years ago, Tim Desmond of Active Environments approached Alan Rucroft, our elephant manager here at the Wild Animal Park and for the Zoological Society, about a system of working with elephants that we have since termed protected contact. It's using operant conditioning and does not use any physical punishment at all. The behaviors are voluntarily offered by the animal. Well, this was initially conceived 3 years ago, and a 45-day contract was let to Active Environments to do an experimental program, and then back in June of this year, we began a formalized...
It is not, and it is not an operational system at this point. It is not a replacement for free contact. It's not necessarily a replacement for a crush or a restraint device. What it is a particular application of operant conditioning. Now, this is not operant conditioning as opposed to non-operant conditioning, because free contact is operant conditioning. Training birds is operant conditioning. Getting your bear to go in at night is operant conditioning. So the issue is here is not operant conditioning. What it is less to do with methods and more to do with objectives of training. And the basic idea here was to look at the needs of an elephant program and put 2 constraints on that. One is we did not want to expose people to injury, and we did not want to use punishment. With those 2 constraints, we needed to take care of the animal. It is not remote. There's an awful lot of contact with the animal in this system. There's a lot of social opportunity and behavioral opportunity in this system. But what there is a kind of several tier layer of protection. One is the obvious physical structure you see behind yourself, which is a shield that allows you to get access to the animal. But that isn't really protected, because if I were to walk up here and not be watching this trunk, he could still grab me eventually and do whatever he wants. The other layers of protection are the animal position and the trainer position. When we're working with the animal, we always position ourselves in such a fashion, and we always position the animal in such a fashion that the animal can't get me without repositioning. He can get me, but he has to make a move that allows me ample time to make my move and leave. You know, there's no holding a position on my part. If the animal gets out of shape or out of whack, I'm gone. There's no pride or dignity in this particular process. It's ass over tea kettle. But the basic idea there is that you set up your objective so that the animal has to make another move in order to get me. The last layer of protection is, in fact, that you're working in a pair. The buddy system is in effect. And that's because when I move inside the yellow line here, I'm eyes on the animal, concentrating on my task. If I'm the guy doing the behavior, I'm going to be up near the animal and watching that part of the animal, because he's real big, that I need to watch. The other person who will be feeding or stationing the animal will be watching me and keeping me safe from the animal's trunk. So that's really the basic part of the system, what it is and what it isn't. And at this point, you guys want to go ahead and do what are we going to do this time? I forgot.
We'll do a trim on the front feet.
Yeah, we're going to do a trim on his front feet, and we did put the sleeve back on.
Oh, that's right. You want to do that? I can hold them off the side.
Yeah, we need to. First, we're going to stumble over our buckets and drop our targets and get organized. Yeah. Now, this is a good example, actually. We need to be careful, because the other thing I want to point out is we're still experimental here. Chico's going to have to get his head over to that far wall before Gary moves in. And this gives me a chance to talk about something else, and that is that we're desensitizing this animal. You notice that when Gary moved into position, you want to help him to start to work on that sleeve. Gail started bridging Chico. The thing, we're reinforcing him basically for staying in position, but we're also desensitizing him to the strange noises that are occurring around him. And one critical thing that I just figured out after 17 years about a desensitization regimen that I think is really important to mention here is that it is in fact not operant conditioning. A major part of doing desensitization is respondent conditioning. Pairing a stimulus with an uncomfortable or aversive event is half of desensitization. Training the animal to hold position after that stimulus has become less aversive is the other half. So desensitization is not just operant conditioning, making the animal sit still while you do something. You have to diminish the intensity of the stimulus first. So whenever an unusual thing happens around here, we'll blow the whistle and feed the animal. Anyhow, right now what we're doing is getting the animal to present his feet for a foot trim. You have a phone?
Well, one thing, we haven't desensitized him to flash photography.
Oh.
So those of you who might have a flash, please turn it off. He's ready to go.
Boy, yeah, that's good. Go back, go back. All right. I'm going to be quiet and just let you listen to what's going on.
Move up. Move up. One of the things that's diminished a little bit during this demo is the duration on some of these things isn't great. Yeah, go ahead, John. Chico, steady. Go ahead and reinforce it first. We haven't actually cut his foot in several months because we were saving it for this thing. So it's hard to, nails grow so slow to keep up a constant desensitization speed. Sure, I'm sorry. The number of sessions are detailed in the actual paper that Gail's going to give, but we did a 45-day cycle and then a 4-month cycle, but we were working anywhere before done anything on his feet. So this, and it's an important thing is that the keepers are also just being introduced to this whole system, and they've been very, very good about being patient with us. And so we're being really patient and helping them just get a feel for this stuff. Move up. Move up. Good boy. See? You can. Actually, I lied. There wasn't anything to do in that sweat. It was being shy.
Oh, how long has it been since
I don't know, but I think it's something 10 years.
Oh, it's been at least 10 years. How old? 25.
Yeah. Any questions about the animals and their history, you should ask one of the several guys, Dusty or Tom, or the folks that have been around here with the animals for a long time. Steve is here.
How many targets did you lose in the process?
Only 6.
I have video footage of Tim.
Oh, I did 5 of them. I always have a habit of sticking things where they don't belong.
Will he present back face?
Yes, he will. We'll do that in a second.
Steady, steady. Go. Chico, foot.
Wait,
Put in your phone. That's okay.
Chico, foot. Move up.
Right.
That's right. Good boy. Steady.
Go ahead and keep on the target. We need more. Here's Gail being able to pull that ear through this hole.
Yep.
This is actually the first time we've set him up after we stuck him, half an hour later. And actually, this particular response to the blood today was the first time he reacted at all. He went,
Go
yeah.
back.
Yeah. Right now we're going to do something, shows you a little bit of the fine-tune control. We take a look at his eye. And again, we started with some basic commands, back up, steady, come, and then he's just like a big killer whale when it gets down to subtlety. Very much tuned in.
Chico, go.
Okay, he's moving into position.
In. Back, foot, this way, Chico. Other one.
Now, he's offered the wrong foot beautifully, and this is a point of frustration that's very similar to what happens in the wild. Animals aren't always reinforced for a good effort.
Good.
Very good. That's exactly right. You can see he pieced it together very quickly. One side wasn't reinforcing. Now he'll maintain that position until she gives him the release command, which is different. Now he's asking, says, I'll do it all.
Chico, okay. Foot, down, boy. Steady. 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 Chico, move up.
Very good. Move up time of the night, so he's especially good today. He's very tolerant.
Chico, go. Chico, lean in. Is he down there yet? Yeah, he's still kind of hanging.
Okay, there he goes.
Chico, back. Bad boy. Chico, foot. Chico, foot. Right here. Right here. Chico, foot. Good. Steady. 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 Chico, move up.
Very good. You may notice
You will notice looking up at the African elephants on the left